PFL 2025 World Tournament, event number 4. These are going to be the full card predictions and betting breakdown. And I'm looking forward to my brother breaking down every single fight on the card. I got my brother Alex doing PFL breakdowns on the channel now. He's going to be covering each event for the Professional Fighters League every single week that they have fights. I'm looking forward to his takes. It's an AJ-approved breakdown for sure. If you tuned in to his introduction live stream, which was earlier today, he got to chat it up with the people, and you guys got to see what my brother's bringing to the table. Well, now he's got his first ever prediction video on the channel. So without further ado, here he is.
What is up, everybody? I am Alex, AJ's younger brother. I'm going to start covering PFL on the channel. I'm going to be holding down the fort for my guy, AJ. And let's just say I'm going to be the king of PFL. Nobody's going to be on my level with these picks. Just like he was king of Bellator back in the day, I'm going to be king of PFL. And today, we're talking PFL World Tournament 1, Week 4. We got the heavyweights and light heavyweights. I'm excited to break it down and give you guys my predictions. With that being said, let's jump straight to the first fight of the night. So first fight of the night, we got Alex Polizzi versus Rafael Xavier. Alex Polizzi, obviously, he's going to be trying to get this fight to the ground. He's going to be trying to use his wrestling, pressing Xavier up against the cage. And then Xavier, he's going to be wanting to use his kickboxing, keep it on the feet, keep it standing. And a lot of people are saying, oh, Polizzi, he trains with Sean Strickland. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. Sean Strickland don't matter. Alex Polizzi is mid as fuck. Alex Polizzi, when you look at him, he's on the feet. He looks like he don't belong. He's square. He comes in stiff. He throws really wide shots, keeps his head sitting on the center line. Rafael Xavier, he's coming off the loss against Simeon Powell, where if there was a couple more seconds in that first round, I think he would have finished Simeon Powell. And I would say Simeon Powell is a very solid striker, and Rafael Xavier was able to almost chin him on the feet in the first round. And Alex Polizzi, in my opinion, he's lacking on the feet, all right? He's going to be just shooting. He's going to be trying to chain wrestle Rafael Xavier. And everyone's saying, oh, Rafael Xavier's only got a puncher's chance. Well, maybe that's exactly what he needs. All Rafael Xavier needs is to crack him on the feet. And I think he's going to be able to crack Alex Polizzi on the feet. And I can see him sleeping Polizzi. Give me Rafael Xavier to get the win by a KO in this one. I just think he's going to be too much for Alex Polizzi. Let's check the odds on this. Alex Polizzi is sitting at the minus 240 favorite, whereas Rafael Xavier is the plus 190 underdog. But I'm telling you guys right now, Rafael Xavier, I think he's going to be able to stop the takedowns of Polizzi. I think Polizzi, he's going to start getting desperate. He's going to be trying to shoot disgusting takedowns. He's going to be just shooting from across the cage. And I think Rafael Xavier is going to be bringing up those front kicks, bringing up those knees. And I can see him cracking Polizzi with some kicks. He's going to be cracking him with the straight shots. And I think he's going to, overall, I think he's just going to finish Alex Polizzi. I could see a first-round knockout for Xavier in this one. Give me Rafael Xavier to get the win by knockout. Next fight of the night, we got Rodrigo Nascimento versus Abraham Bobley. Obviously, Nascimento was in the UFC. He did pretty well in the UFC. I think they could have even kept him around. He could still be fighting in the UFC, I would say. And Abraham Bobley, 5-1. This is a big step up fight. He doesn't have much experience. He's a little bit small. He's got good, decent striking. He's a solid wrestler. He's very light on his feet. He likes bouncing. He's light on his toes. For a big man, for a heavyweight, I would say he's light on his feet. But he is small. And I think Rodrigo Nascimento, his size is going to be too much for Abraham Bobley in this. I think Rodrigo Nascimento is going to be pressing him against the cage, use his size, and be able to use the wrestling against Bobley in this. And I see Rodrigo Nascimento, probably see him winning the decision. I think Nascimento is just going to use his size, take down Bobley in this one, and I can see him getting the win. The odds on this, we got Rodrigo Nascimento. He's sitting at the minus 130 favorite. Abraham Bobley, plus 100 underdog. So pretty close line on that one, but I do see it going Nascimento's way. I think he's just been in it. He's been in there with better opponents, better opposition. Abraham Bobley, he's only fought realistically one solid fighter, and he lost a split decision, so I'll give him the credit. He's not a bad fighter by any means, but I just think Rodrigo Nascimento is going to be too much for him. So give me Nascimento to get the win by decision. Next fight of the night, we got Sullivan Cauley versus Marcelo Nunes. Sullivan Cauley, he's got decent striking. He's not bad on the feet. He's been training with Ryan Bader. He's got solid wrestling. Marcelo Nunes is dropping down for this fight. He's dropping weight, so he's coming in at 205 for this one. And Marcelo Nunes, I'm not impressed by. I think Sullivan Cauley is going to be able to get the win in this one. I think we'll see Sullivan Cauley even be able to touch Marcelo up on the feet. I think he's going to be able to use his grappling, be pressing it against the cage. I could see him taking down Marcelo Nunes. I just am not impressed by Nunes much. Yeah, he's 11-2, but he's 36 years old. Sullivan Cauley's 28. I see potential for this kid, and I think he's going to be able to beat Marcelo Nunes in this. I think he's going to probably win a decision, I would say. The odds on here, we got Nunes at the plus 140 underdog, Sullivan Cauley sitting at the minus 170. I just think Sullivan Cauley is going to be better than him. I think he's going to come out looking sharper, looking crisper. I think he's going to be touching up Marcelo Nunes. I don't think Marcelo Nunes is going to be able to do much to Cauley. Nunes, yes, he's got some pop, he's got some power in his hands, but I don't think he's going to be able to use it on Cauley. I see Cauley being able to get the decision win over Marcelo Nunes. Next fight of the night, we got Oleg Popov versus Karl Williams. Karl Williams went 2-1 in the UFC. His last loss was to Denise. Karl Williams, all right, he's a decent wrestler. He's got all right stand-up. Oleg Popov, he's got decent head movement, I would say, on the feet. Nothing impressive. He's definitely not a striker by any means. Oleg Popov is a pure grappler, pure wrestler, and I think he's going to use that wrestling in this one to beat up Karl Williams. I see him taking him to the ground, just dominating him to a decision win, especially when you look, Karl Williams took this fight on short notice. Oleg Popov was supposed to be fighting Linton Vasyl, and he was supposed to be fighting Linton Vasyl for the second time, but Vasyl is no longer his opponent. Now Karl Williams stepped in on short notice, and I don't see Karl Williams being able to beat Oleg Popov in this one. Popov going to get the fight to the ground. I think he's going to be able to dominate Karl Williams in this one. I see him winning a dominant decision. Give me Oleg Popov to get the win. Oleg Popov sitting at the minus 245. Karl Williams sitting at the plus 195, so pretty solid underdog. And I don't see him getting the win. I can see him gassing out, especially when you look at the short notice. He's probably a little bit out of shape right now, too. Karl Williams is not winning this fight. I'm going Oleg Popov to get the win by decision. Now, we got Alexander Romanov versus Tim Johnson. Come on. Who do you guys think I'm going with here? Easy Alexander Romanov win in this one. Tim Johnson, he's old as hell, man. He's 40 years old. He's not even impressive. He's 18-11. He's getting too old. He's very mid. He's striking. He gets very sloppy at times. Alexander Romanov has fought in the UFC. He could still be in the UFC right now if he wanted to. I don't know. The UFC cut him for some reason, but I do think Romanov could be still in the top guys at the heavyweight division in the UFC, and I see him easily beating up Tim Johnson in this one. I think he's going to be able to get the fight to the ground and dominate Tim Johnson. I could see him finishing Tim Johnson. Maybe I'll go second round finish for Romanov in this. Tim Johnson, I just don't think is going to be able to do much to Romanov. Romanov's going to absolutely come out there, and I would say dominate Tim Johnson. Easy win for Romanov in this one. The odds, Romanov is a huge favorite, sitting at the minus 700. Tim Johnson, plus 500 underdog. And I don't see Johnson being able to get the win here. He's going to get beat up in this fight. Next fight of the night, we got Karl Albrektsson versus Simeon Powell. Karl Albrektsson, he's I would say at one point he was a solid fighter. I think he lost something. He's not the same anymore. I don't think he's got the skills like he used to have. Simeon Powell, up and coming kid. He's 26 years old. He likes keeping the fight at range, using his distance, touching up his opponents from the outside. He likes throwing his straight punches. Karl Albrektsson, yes, he's got solid striking. He's got decent ground game, but I think Simeon Powell is going to dominate him in this one. I can see Simeon Powell getting a finish, but I'm going to go the decision route. He could win a nice dominant decision over Albrektsson. I just think Albrektson's not going to be able to do much to him. I think Albrektson's going to be trying to close the distance on him, but I think Simeon Powell is just going to be touching him up from the outside, using his distance, using his 1-2s, and just beating up Karl Albrektsson on the feet. I see Simeon Powell getting the decision win. Give me Simeon Powell to get the win. And the odds on that, Albrektsson, is sitting at the plus 160 underdog. Simeon Powell is the minus 200 favorite. I really see Simeon Powell being able to use his range, use his distance, and just keep touching up Albrektsson on the feet. I don't think Albrektson's going to be able to deal with the long range and long limbs of Simeon Powell. So I'm going Simeon Powell in this one. Next fight of the night, we got Antonio Carlos Jr. versus Karl Moore. And I'll tell you straight up, I'm not super impressed by Carlos Jr. Yes, he was in the UFC. He had a lot of fights in the UFC. How many fights he had? He went 7-5 in the UFC. But I don't think that matters in this one. I think Karl Moore is just the better fighter in here. I think Karl Moore is going to be able to touch him up. I think Karl Moore is going to be able to even use the clinch pressure, be pressing it up against the cage, and I can see him just beating up Antonio Carlos Jr. Carlos Jr., he's got solid jiu-jitsu. I'm not super impressed by him on the feet. I think he looks kind of awkward on the feet. I can see Karl Moore being able to touch that chin of Antonio Carlos Jr. But Karl Moore, I see him getting the win in this one. And the odds on that, we got Moore sitting at the minus 135. Carlos Jr. is sitting at the plus 105. And before these lines, Karl Moore was the underdog. I think he was sitting at a plus 110, I believe. But the lines have switched. And I see Karl Moore being able to get it done over Carlos Jr. in this one. Next fight of the night, we got Valentin Moldavsky versus Sergey Bilostenniy. I'll tell you guys right now, these two guys both going to be gassed as fuck. If this gets to the third round, they're going to be tired as hell. They're going to be huffing and puffing, hands on the knees, gasping for air. But with that being said, I'm going Moldavsky in this one. I think Moldavsky is going to be able to get it done over Bilostenniy. Bilostenniy, he's got decent striking. He's solid on the feet, I would say. But Moldavsky, I think he's going to impose his will and just press up Bilostenniy against the cage. I think he's going to use his grappling and be able to get this fight to the ground. Moldavsky, very solid wrestler. He's all right on the feet, but I don't see him staying on the feet too long against Bilostenniy. I think he's going to be able to get the fight to the ground. And I ultimately see him beating Bilostenniy by decision. I think he's just going to be pressing him up against the cage, use his grappling, get this fight to the floor. And I see him beating Bilostenniy in this one. Bilostenniy, he's sitting at the plus 150 underdog. Moldavsky's the minus 180 favorite. And Moldavsky, I think, is just going to have a little bit more oomph in his style in this fight. I think he's just going to come at Moldavsky's going to come at Bilostenniy a little harder, going to be pressing the pace, and I think Moldavsky's going to get the win. Now, on to the main event. We got Phil Davis versus Rob Wilkinson. Phil Davis, at one point, I would say he would easily beat up Rob Wilkinson. But he's 40 years old now, and I don't see that happen. I think Rob Wilkinson's going to be able to win this fight. He's the younger man in there. Yes, people might say, oh, he's off the sauce. He's not as good anymore. But I still think he's solid. I see Rob Wilkinson being able to touch Phil Davis up. I think he's going to be able to keep the fight on the feet, and I don't think Phil Davis is going to be able to deal with that. Phil Davis, he's going to try to use his wrestling in this one, trying to be getting the fight to the ground. But I would say Rob Wilkinson, he's got pretty solid takedown defense. Yes, he's coming off a loss to Dolviet, who won the tournament. But Dolviet, I would say, is better than Phil Davis by a long shot. Rob Wilkinson went to a decision with him. Rob Wilkinson in this one, I see him being able to beat Davis. 40-year-old Davis, at this point, I think he's just got to retire. He's been in the game a long time. He entered the UFC in like 2008. So he's been fighting a long time. So I'm going to go Rob Wilkinson to get the win by, I would say, decision. I think Phil Davis is tough. I think he's going to be able to sit in there. But I don't think he's winning this fight over Rob Wilkinson. Rob Wilkinson, he's sitting at the minus 150 favorite, whereas Phil Davis is the plus 120 underdog. And again, Phil Davis, he's 40 years old. Come on. I don't see him being able to beat Rob Wilkinson. A lot of people are going to be on Phil Davis just because he's, I would say, an OG. He's like, oh, Phil Davis is going to win the fight. Nah. Rob Wilkinson's going to get the win in this one. I think Rob Wilkinson gets it done. So those are my predictions for PFL World Tournament Week 4. Let me know what you guys think of it down in the comments. Let me know what y'all think of me. A link to my channel is going to be down in the description. And let me know how I did. Let me know if I held down the floor well, if I did a pretty decent job, or let me know if I did a shit job. Let me know what you think of my picks. And as always, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.
Peace.